1994. I'm contemplating when and if I should make a move from Virginia, my birthplace, to New Jersey. The reason I wanted to make this move was for the purpose of my soon-to-be or hope-to-be bodybuilding career. I was at the 1994 Suburban Championships afterwards in a diner, and I see this guy sitting there with this tremendous, huge set of legs. At the time, big upper body, but it was the legs that caught my eye. In passing, I said hello, he said hello. I went on about my business, had my meal, went home. The next time I saw this individual was 1995, after he had won the 1995 Junior Nationals. The physique had improved drastically. No longer was it just a large set of wheels. Now it was this massive upper body to match. 1 year later, 1996, the 1996 USA Championships, his first year on the top level national competitions. I, for the first time, had a short conversation with this guy. The reason being that as a bodybuilder, you want to align yourselves with people that are constantly improving. People that don't get stuck in a rut and say, okay, I'm good enough where I'm at, but someone that has that desire deep down to constantly get bigger and better. And when you speak of bigger, there is no bigger than Dave. It wasn't until 1997 that the friendship started to flourish, but more in a business way. I was impressed with these gains. David went from when I met him at a 240-pound big guy, he was now this 300-pound monster over the course of 3 years. And again, the naive bodybuilding public, at the time I was a part of it, thinking he had some special potion, some special trick. There was no trick and there was no potion. The trick was, again, that intense desire to be at the top. And at the time, his way of thinking, which has become my way of thinking, that bigger is better. Larger is always going to overcome small. So I asked him to help me for my first year on the national scene, the 1997 Nationals. Through that, the best thing that came of it was our friendship. We have a lot in common, the way we think. When I had seen Dave in 1996, he was guest posing when I won the New Jersey Heavyweight Championship. Well, at the time, I was a 230-pound bodybuilder. Now, in the course of those 2 years since then, I'm now a 290-pound bodybuilder. Again, it's not because Dave taught me any special secret or took me to some secret place where they do all of these strange scientific things to me. Instead, it was teaching me basically to relax and allow the physique to do what it's going to do. If someone were to ask me, why did you align yourself with David Palumbo? It's the same reasons I became friends with Dave. You have a positive individual or two positive individuals who want to consistently and continually improve. As long as you can make your body do what you want it to do, you're going to constantly shock people. In short, I enjoy being around someone that is not only incredibly large and inspires me to work even harder every time I'm in the gym, but also being around someone that backs it up with just as much brain power. You're going to see a physique on David that is unmatched and unparalleled in the areas of size, mass, and conditioning, which is what bodybuilding is supposed to be all about.
I met Matt in 1994, so he says. I really didn't remember Matt when I met him in 1994. However, it must have marked a significant date and time. I do remember meeting Matt in 1996 in California. He had moved out there briefly and we had lunch together and we exchanged some conversation. We seemed to have gotten along pretty well together. Matt had approached me after the USA Championships and he wanted to know if he could work with me and possibly train with me. He kind of got a different perspective. He realized that there was nothing special that I did that no one else did, except maybe apply more scientific methods to the way I approached subjects such as diet, nutrition, weight gaining, working out. The reason I believe we got along so well was because we both have a similar personality. We both set our minds to a specific goal and we don't stop until we achieve that goal. And I think another important factor in this whole relationship was is barriers, and life is full of barriers, and the people who break past the barriers are the people who succeed. And Matt had seen that I surpassed this magical, mystical 300-pound barrier. If I wanted to make an impact, I had to do something to surpass this size barrier. I knew that it was just in the minds of bodybuilders, that they were afraid. It was unexplored territory. So I set my mind to it, and once I broke this barrier, you know, everyone wanted to know what I did, what magical potions I used, how I did it. And the truth was, I didn't fear it. And I could tell that Matt had that same, you know, same sense about himself, that he didn't fear going into unexplored territories. We worked together and we brought his body weight up into the 290s, and now he's probably teetering around 300 himself. And what I got from Matt was a sense of never being satisfied with the way I looked. In other words, I never wanted to get complacent or lazy. He was always pushing himself and trying to get bigger and stronger and eat more. But in doing so, maybe it was like I was afraid he was going to catch me, but it pushed me and motivated me to push myself harder. I use his youth, I think, as a little bit of motivation for myself. Whereas he may use my knowledge or my wisdom of being around a little longer, I use his enthusiasm and his wanting to improve and get to where I am as motivation to keep moving myself forward in the sport. And that's the key to our success.